Greetings, my dear viewers. It is I, Drayhon, and welcome back to another Dungeons & Dragons character concept deep dive. If you're new to this series and are used to my character conversion series, character concept more or less is I take a look at a concept for a character and tell you what ways you can make that character. Most of the time, it's me looking at the different races of Dungeons & Dragons and giving you inspiration on making a character based off of the lore and how different backgrounds and subclasses will fit in with that race, and give you a slight crash course into the race's backstories. For this deep dive, which is kind of a mini-series inside character concept, I go over an actual character concept. Like, for example, a paladin of the United States of America, which was the first deep dive I did in this series. And I explain what you would need in order to be a Paladin of America. I also did recently a Master of Parkour. Just fancy jumping, for the most part. And this one is going to be another Master of a certain art. This one is going to be the Master of Archery. Whether it be a bow, a crossbow, a flipping sniper rifle, or just, throwing an axe at someone's face. We're going to cover that in the range master, an archery master. Now, mostly it's going to be covering the bow and the crossbow, but we are also going to talk a little bit about ranged attacks in general. Now, normally with character concept, I don't go over stats. I just give you the race, I give you what backgrounds and subclasses would work. For this one, we're actually making a character, so I will be giving you the stats similar to character conversion. And as always, when we talk about stats, we are using the point-buy system. Our three lowest stats are going to be Constitution, Intelligence, and Charisma. They're not important, but they are not by any means a dump stat. Apologies, my throat's dry. The next lowest stat's going to be Strength, which will be fixed here in a moment. And our two highest stats are maxed out as far as point buy is concerned. Dexterity and Wisdom, each at a 15. Now for the race, we're actually going to grab the Custom Lineage, which is going to increase one stat by 2 points, which is going to be our Dexterity, which will make it a 17. Thanks to Custom Lineage, we get a speed of 30 feet, dark vision of 60 feet, and 2 languages, common and 1 other. It doesn't really matter what language you choose, just so it fits with your character's style. I would say I'd recommend Elvish, that way this is kind of like a variant elf. But that's not really important. Go ahead and grab the feat known as Piercer. This will give you a +1 to your dexterity, making it an 18 at this point. And you get the following features. Once on your turn, you can re-roll 1 damage die of an attack that deals piercing damage. So, say that you got a 3 on your damage die for your heavy crossbow. You can use this Piercer ability to re-roll that damage and possibly get a higher damage. Of course, you have to use this new roll, so if you accidentally roll low, then you're going to have to keep it as well. Furthermore, the Piercer also gives you the secondary ability of When you score a critical hit that deals piercing damage to a creature, you can just roll one additional damage die when determining the extra piercing damage the target takes. Now, normally, a critical hit means that you deal twice as many damage die. So, with this, instead of dealing 2d10 with your critical hit on your heavy crossbow, that's your base for calculating. So you'll be dealing 4d10 on a critical hit. We'll go over the math of your damage at the end of this video, so stay tuned if you want to figure that out. I forgot to put the skill in here. It doesn't really matter, just so long as it isn't one of the ability scores you'll be getting here in a moment. We'll say, I don't know, athletics. I don't think I put this one in this build, so we'll say athletics, why not? Moving on to background, go ahead and grab the Urban Bounty Hunter. Background features really don't help much as far as attacking goes, but I think the Urban Bounty Hunter is a pretty good background for this style of character. And that is because of the ear to the ground feature. I don't exactly remember what it does. I just know you're able to do some tracking really well, almost like a nerfed version of the spell Hunter's Mark. So I think that's pretty good. You get skills in Insight and Stealth, and you also get proficiency in 2 tools, a gaming set and an instrument. I just went with 3 Dragon Onti and a flute. Moving on to class, we're starting things off with the Fighter. And we get a d10 hit die, and our starting hit points is going to be 10 since we don't really have much on our constitution. We left that at a 10, remember? So that's only a 0 modifier. For your skills, grab Perception and Survival. For your fighting style, grab Archery. This will give us a +2 on our attack rolls. Not the damage rolls, just the attack roll. And you also get the feature Second Wind, which will give you some temporary hit points. Next, we're going to multi-class into a Rogue. Now, for those of you who normally watch Character Conversion, I guess you can consider this build a Robin Hood build, since it's very similar to a Robin Hood character. Anyway, moving on with the Rogue, we get an extra skill, which is going to be Stealth. For expertise, go ahead and get some expertise in your Insights and your Perception. Grab Sneak Attack and Thieves' Cant as your abilities. Your Sneak Attack is going to give you an extra d6 of damage when you, deal sneak attack damage. Can't remember off the top of my head the requirements for sneak attack. I think it has something to do with the initiative order. If the opponent has yet to roll in initiative, yet to come up in initiative order, you are able to deal this extra damage. Also, no, it was when you have advantage on an attack. There it is. You get the sneak attack damage. Okay, moving on to level 2 Fighter. This gives us Action Surge. You get to use 2 actions on each of your turns. So that's 2 attacks, or take an attack and then disengage, or whatever. I'd say use the Action Surge for an extra attack action. Cunning Action is the level 2 Rogue feature. And level 3 Rogues in a Roguish archetype. We're actually going to go for the Assassin. This will give us bonus proficiencies in the Disguise kit and the Poisoner's kit. And we also get the feature Assassinate. This will let us score a critical hit automatically as long as we have advantage on an attack. If I remember correctly. I could be wrong, but that's one of the best features I have gotten to think of. So the Assassin is going to be our best bet. We also get Steady Aim. which gives us some advantage on our attacks, on initiative, and on stealth. Next is Fighter level 3, which means we get a subclass from it, the Martial Archetype Battle Master. This will give us some combat superiority. The maneuvers that you will get for this combat superiority should be ambush, disarming attack, and precision attack. This will help you with getting advantage on your attacks a lot easier, giving you the ability to use your sneak attack. Next is your maneuver save DC. Disarming attack uses this save DC of 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength or dexterity. I would recommend using dexterity. And if disarming attack causes, when the target fails this save, is that I am slurring my speech today for some reason. Disarming attack. If you target a creature with an attack and you hit it, the target must make a saving throw. They fail the saving throw, and one thing of your choice is knocked out of that target's hand. So, if they have a sword, knock the sword out of their hand. Good, got it. Okay, let's get moving. Next is level 4 Fighter. We're going to grab a feat instead of the normal ability score improvement, and we're grabbing the arguably one of the best feats in the game, Sharp Shooter. This will give us the following. Attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage on your ranged attack rolls. If you were to look at a weapon such as the heavy crossbow, it has a minimum distance, and a maximum distance. The first distance, if you go past that, you have disadvantage on your attacks. And the second one, if you go past it, the attack automatically fails. So that first distance is not affected, thanks to Sharp Shooter's effect. Secondly, your ranged weapon attacks ignore half cover and 3/4 cover. With half cover and 3/4 cover, if a creature is behind it, they get an extra AC bonus. With this ranged weapon attack, this takes away that bonus. Finally, before you make an attack with a ranged weapon that you are proficient with, you can choose to take a -5 penalty to the attack roll. If the attack hits, you add +10 to the attack's damage, which is a very good feat, and why I like this feat so much, and why a lot of people like it. Moving on to level 4 Rogue, go ahead and increase your strength and your wisdom each by 1, rounding them off to an even number. Level 5 Fighters get an extra attack. That's 2 attacks for attack action. So thanks to Action Surge, you have 4 attacks to work with. Level 6 Fighters get an ability score improvement. Go ahead and increase your intelligence by 2. Level 7 Fighters get the ability Know Your Enemy and some extra maneuvers from the Battle Master. Go ahead and grab Quick Toss and Trip Attack. Quick Toss will improve your ranged weapon attacks for the thrown weapons. Moving on to level 8 Fighter, go ahead and grab the feat Crossbow Expert. And I meant to put down the descriptor for this feat, but I forgot. Basically, you get to ignore the reload property of your crossbows. Also, if you make a melee attack, you can use a bonus action to make an additional attack with a light crossbow. Or a hand crossbow. I think it was hand crossbow. Which is not that important when you have a bunch of fighter stuff. This was mostly to ignore the reload property of the crossbow. Moving on to level 9 Fighter, we get the Indomitable feature. which gives you advantage on some of your saving throws. Level 10 fighter gets improved combat superiority. This means you now have a D10 for your superiority die. For your maneuvers, grab goading attack and menacing attack. Level 11 fighters get another extra attack, so you can now attack 3 times per attack action, which is really good in my opinion. And finally, level 12 fighters gets an ability score improvement. Go ahead and max out your dexterity to a 20, which will start giving you a +5 to your attack rolls. And as I promised, let's go ahead and do the math on this. So starting off with initiative, this is going to be important. It's going to, at this level, you have your D20 plus your proficiency bonus, plus your dexterity modifier, my mistake, which is a +5. You also get a D10 from your ambush maneuver, which gives you advantage on your initiative rolls. Now for your attack itself. The heavy crossbow gives you the following. First, your attack is a D20, and you have advantage on this thanks to your precision attack. You get +2 from your proficiency bonus, +2 from your archery feature, +5 from your dexterity modifier, -5 from sharpshooter if you choose to take this penalty, which I would recommend, and a D10 from your superiority die from precision attack. Next is your damage. The heavy crossbow deals a D10 in damage. You get a +2 from your proficiency bonus, +10 from sharpshooter, +2d6 at 4 levels of rogue, and you also get a D10 from your superiority die. If you were to just do this damage normally, that is an average of 30 piercing damage. Now, if you were to get a critical hit, which you more often than not will, especially if initiative has not been rolled yet, you will have a 4d10. This is thanks to Piercer and the critical hit together, plus your proficiency bonus, which is 2. Actually, it might be higher at this point. I might be doing my maths incorrectly. But as far as I remember, it is a 2. It might be higher. So I'm lowballing it because I can't remember proficiencies. +10 from sharpshooter, plus another 2d6 from your sneak attack, and another d10 from your superiority die. And because I don't know math, this is only suggesting the +2 proficiency bonus. I believe you have a +3 at this point. Maybe a +4. But your average damage with a +2 proficiency bonus is 46 piercing damage. And you have 3 attacks per attack action. So, taking that into account, if you were to use your action surge and do all 6 attacks and hit, you would have an adult red dragon at 0 HP before it even had a chance to attack. That's pretty good. Being able to kill an adult red dragon before it even knows what hit it, that's pretty impressive. And that's not taking into account magic items. If you were to get some magic crossbow or a magic ammunition, then you might be dealing a lot more damage. Of course, you also have to take into account the correct proficiency bonus, since I forgot to do so in this math. Well then, I think that's all I have for you today, my dear viewers. I have actually rambled on long enough. So, I hope you enjoyed this build, and I do hope you stick around for some of my other videos. If you want to take a look at the Parkour Master or the Paladin of America, please do so. I have a playlist for character concept on my main page, so please do check those out. And until next time, this has been Drehan, and I am offline.